Welcome to the Original Gangsters podcast. I'm your host, Scott Burnstein. Quick hitter edition. We're going to head out to New York in the Gambino crime family and talk about a pair of promotions that were first written about. And the news was broke this week by the godfather of the mob reporting game, Jerry Capos, and Gangland News. Kind of slipped this in there. Didn't really put it in any headlines or anything. Kind of slipped it in at the bottom of his column that Danny Fama and Cesar Gurino are current capos in the Gambino crime family. Danny, this is the first time we're hearing about Danny Fama rising above soldier. We know that Danny, and there's a picture of Cesar Gurino with Jennifer Lopez. Cesar Gurino, we know, had been a captain at one point, but had not, he was a captain and then he wasn't. I'm not sure if he was demoted or he stepped down, but according to Jerry, now he is a captain again. Both Fama and Gurino are part of the Gotti faction, and it plays into a lot of our reporting here at Original Gangsters and our companion web magazine, the Gangster Report, about how the old school Gotti faction, the old school Gotti regime, if you will, a lot of those major cogs in that wheel, not counting John Gotti or Junior Gotti or Petey Gotti, who are either passed away or retired, that a lot of those guys that made up the structure of the Gambino regime are still in major shot calling positions in the 2020s, 30 years later, 35 years later, and 15 years after the leadership in that family officially shifted from the Gottis to the Sicilians. But as, again, we've talked about and contextualized here, that a lot of the Sicilians, the majority of the Sicilians in the pecking order right now, Dom Cefalu and Lorenzo Menino, these are guys that came up under Gotti. So Danny Fama is a guy that was or has been connected to a number of murders, as well as what I would call the final Gotti homicide, the final murder that John Gotti ordered while he was on the street as a Mafia Don, the August 1990 murder of Gambino mob soldier Eddie the Chink Garofalo. And according to federal prosecutors, Danny Fama was the getaway driver in that hit. He was charged, and then those charges were dropped before trial. But Danny Fama did, I think, 15, 16 years in federal prison. And what was interesting about him, according to a lot of the reporting on him, as well as federal intelligence, was he was a guy that initially did not want a button, did not want to be made, was making enough money and felt like he had enough respect and prestige on the street that he didn't want to be inducted into the Gambinos. At some point that changed, and now, according to Jerry Capos, he is a skipper. Cesar Gurino, the Gurino brothers go way back with the Gottis. Cesar, his brother Anthony, they owned the plumbing company that John Gotti took his legitimate paycheck from. Back in the day, John Gotti would say, "I'm not a mafia boss, I'm a plumber." Well, that was working for the Gurino brothers. The Gurino brothers were also tied into John Gotti's brother, Gino Gotti's drug case. And we've mentioned Gene Gotti in some of our reporting recently that he has, even though he's pushing 80, he's and has been out of prison now 5, 6, 7 years. He is still a voice that is heard and is a sounding board for administrators, and possibly could be in line for a administrative post. Sit Down News last year carried him as the underboss already. We haven't confirmed that, but we're told that he's in the mix, and along with a lot of other Gotti guys. So Cesar Gurino, fits that profile of an ex-Gotti guy that is in either a Capos position or in the administration, representing the old Gotti regime and influencing the Sicilians, Lorenzo and Dom Cefalu. Just a quick note on Eddie the Chink's murder. It's a perfect example of when you're marked for death in that world. It's like Henry Hill said in Goodfellas, it's not like what you see in the movies where some, guys in ski masks are going to come and kill you. It's going to be your best friend. Or in the case of Eddie the Chink, it was his cousin Eddie Garofalo, who would go on to become a capo. He lured Eddie the Chink out to be killed by a Gambino hit team. Made the phone call to get him out into the open, and then Eddie the Chink would not have gone to his slaughter if it wasn't for his cousin calling him and setting him up for the kill. And that's just how that world operates. Danny Fama, again, in that August 1990 gangland slaying, was alleged to be the getaway driver back when he was a young man. So that's what we got for you today. 2 new capos announced in the Gambino crime family, both coming from the Gotti faction. Danny Fama, Cesar Gurino. Shout out to Jerry Capos, who always does a great job. And according to, we shouldn't bury what Jerry was reporting on these guys. Apparently, the Waterfront Commission in New York, as well as the local police and local prosecutors, have Gurino and Fama as targets in a racketeering labor corruption investigation right now. So we'll see how that all plays out. Please like, share, and subscribe. Original Gangsters podcast. Spread the word. We're here all week breaking down the most important underworld news, whether it be the Italian mob, drug dealers, the drug world, the 1% biker world. We're here giving you your true crime fix. Check out the Patreon, members only Patreon, Original Gangsters members only Patreon, where we're starting a new series with never before heard from LCN figures that will be coming and sharing their stories and their perspective with us here at Original Gangsters in the brand. But you got to go to members only for it and get behind the paywall, because this is stuff you're not going to get anywhere else. We're going to share a little bit of it as we go on YouTube, but we're rolling kind of people out every couple of weeks. So right now we got Nove Toko, the former Detroit mob soldier, telling his story. And then we got a couple more people that we're going to be introducing before springtime. So check that out. Scott Burnstein, Original Gangsters podcast, here uncovering the underworld, one city, one region, one country at a time. I'm out. See you next time.